Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Pham, here to help you practice curiosity to elevate your work and life. Today, we're going to talk about how you can shift your mindset around curiosity from thinking about it as a trait to thinking about it as a practice. Now, most people describe curiosity as a trait, something that you have or you don't have. I like to think of curiosity as a practice, as something you actually do. And that means that sometimes it can be hard to practice curiosity. I liken the practice of curiosity to meditation. It looks really easy, and yet it is quite difficult to be still. So there are three main situations in which we practice curiosity. The first is the one that is the most obvious, the most basic level, and that is learning something new. So for example, let's say I don't know about 19th century Polish history and I'm curious and I want to learn about it. So that is learning something new, the most basic level of curiosity, practicing curiosity. The second level, which gets a bit more challenging, is you are faced with, you have certain expectations and those expectations aren't being met. Are you still going to practice curiosity and sit through it to find out, well, what does happen, even though this isn't turning out how I thought it was going to turn out? Now, I can tell you that there are definitely times when I have had my expectations in the beginning, like, oh, this is not what I thought, and I don't care to find out what happens. So for example, I've definitely walked out in the middle of movies or plays or not finished a book because I was just like, I got impatient and I didn't want to find out because it's like, this is not meeting my needs. The third hardest level of practicing curiosity is that when you have to interact with someone who you actually fundamentally disagree with. And are you going to practice curiosity enough to sit and learn from that person, to learn their perspective, not to try to persuade them over to your perspective or your opinion, to actually truly open up and learn. And so with that third level, the most challenging level of practicing curiosity, I've got two questions you've got to ask yourself to test, hey, am I ready to enter this conversation? So the first question you can ask yourself is, do I want this person who I disagree with to learn from me? Do I want them to be open and to possibly change their opinion based on something that I have to share with them? All right, so that's the first question you ask yourself. The second question you ask yourself is, am I willing to learn from this person? That is, am I truly open to whatever this person has to share? And that means that I might actually change my mind based on what they have to say. So here's the thing. It can be really, really, really difficult to say yes to that second question. And if that's the case, then you're not ready to practice curiosity. And that's okay. It's actually much better to acknowledge that than to try to enter a conversation and really you're secretly thinking, ooh, I want to change their mind, but let me be open. And actually, I just want to change their mind, because the other person, they get a sense of that. They know what you're doing. And they can see that you are performing openness, pretending to be curious. And it's okay to pause and to say, you know what, I'm not ready to have this conversation. The thing that actually gets in the way of practicing curiosity is when we feel disappointed or confused, angry, upset, resentful. There are all of these negative emotions that we can have that can actually make it really difficult for us to practice curiosity. And all of those are supernatural. I've definitely had that myself, where it's just I'm stuck in these negative feelings and I can't ask questions. I can't practice curiosity. And that's all right, because again, curiosity is a practice. Sometimes we'll be able to practice it and sometimes we won't. Now, the practice of curiosity comes down to three elements. The first is self-awareness, the second is relationship building, and the third is clear communication. So let me go into each of these. That first, self-awareness, is asking myself questions, asking myself, why did I think that? Why do I feel that way? So sometimes when we feel disrespected or something, or we feel wronged, we can get stuck in thinking, oh, I was wronged, or that person was offensive. And what we don't ask ourselves is, why do I feel that way? So around this first element of self-awareness, it's being curious about yourself. The second element of practicing curiosity is relationship building. And so what that means is getting curious about other people and letting them get curious about you. So it's not just about, oh, tell me all about yourself, but I'm not going to share me. No, actually practicing curiosity you have to share yourself too. And when you share yourself, you will get these reactions and you'll learn about how that person reacted to you. And that's reciprocity. That's relationship building. You need to have this back and forth. You need to have this willingness to share and be open to whatever that person has to say. And so sometimes I hear people say, oh, it's not my job to educate you. Well, I'm not looking for an education. I'm looking for engagement. I'm looking for conversation. I'm looking for reciprocity. And that is core to relationship building. Now, the third element of practicing curiosity is clear communication. So that means listening to understand, asking questions to clarify, and sharing stories, sharing examples. It can be really hard to share specific examples because it can feel vulnerable. And yet, part of clear communication is to be able to be specific. And so this third element is actually just a wraparound of that first element of self-awareness and the second of relationship building. Inward curiosity, outward curiosity, and then it kind of wraps in this circle. So now that I've told you how curiosity is actually, how to think about it as a practice, well, how does that change the way you interact with others? I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do click like and don't forget to follow this channel. And also go to curiositybase.com so you can learn about all of our different resources to help you practice curiosity in the world.